Welcome to Story Stash. I'm your host Duncan, and these are some of my stories I've written. Today I'm reading from my book Ghost Whisperer, and this is chapter 11. So let's get started. Chapter 11. It was raining outside as Ed drove into work. He thought about everything weird happening in his life. It wouldn't have happened if he hadn't got hit on the head. At work, Ed dived into work on bug fixes. Large software products always had unlimited issues to correct or adjust. Their clients gladly pointed out the issues, but he never heard a thank you for all the fixes he sent their way. Later, Ed got a text from Ellen. It included her new address and an invitation to dinner that evening. He looked up the address on Google Maps. It was a more exclusive part of town. Wow! Ed continued his work. "Hey Ed," said Blake. His head was peeking over the cubicle wall. "Care to go out for lunch?" "Sure, what do you suggest?" "How about Japanese? There's a good one nearby." "Okay." At lunchtime, Ed and Blake left for lunch. Blake drove as he decided on the restaurant. Blake pulled up in front of the Japanese restaurant, which was the same one Ed had recently visited. He didn't know the restaurant was a front for Yakuza, but he recognized it. "Irashimasu!" yelled the staff behind the counter. Ed understood the meaning and nodded his head toward them. A young Japanese woman greeted them. It was Aki. She looked at him wide-eyed, not expecting his return. "Table for two, please," said Blake. She shook her head and looked at him. "Yes, sir. Please follow me." She took them to a table near the window. Ed spotted the side door he'd seen before. A waitress came to take their order. Blake ordered a couple of sushi rolls. Ed gave his order, and it came out in Japanese. Both the waitress and Blake stared at Ed. The waitress left to handle their order. "What?" asked Ed. "You speak Japanese." "No, of course I don't. Why?" "You just did. You ordered in Japanese." "No, I didn't. I only know English." Blake stared at him. "You could have fooled me. It sure sounded Japanese." Their food arrived promptly. Ed didn't recognize what he ordered, but it tasted good. Blake ate his rolls, looking at Ed as he did. There was something different. Once they finished, Ed went up to pay the bill. Aki was there, but she refused payment in Japanese. Ed shrugged. He turned to Blake. "Let's go. I have bugs to fix." Back outside, they got into Blake's car. "You didn't pay the bill," said Blake. It wasn't a question. "She said it was on the house. Don't ask me to explain it, as I can't." Blake shrugged. They drove back to work. Ellen was on her phone, booking a housekeeper and maid service. "I need them to start today, if possible," she said. "Understood. Can you recommend a caterer service? I have a guest for dinner this evening." "I can arrange something. What food and how many will dine?" "I should have asked him what food he liked. I don't know. Perhaps I can suggest Italian food. Pasta and pizza work with most guests." "Yes, I like that. Do you have tiramisu?" "Certainly. I'll include tiramisu. And how many will dine?" "2 people, thank you." Soon she'd ended her call. "So you're moving in today?" asked Hope. "Yes, I've enjoyed your hospitality for long enough. You can join me too if you like. You can have a suite. It's a large place." "Oh no, I like my townhome." "Okay. Well, I have to arrange movers to empty my apartment." Ellen picked up her phone. Hope wondered what she'd gotten herself into. She hadn't returned to the clinic since Ellen had escaped. At the end of the workday, Ed closed his computer. Connor hadn't bothered him all day, and it was a nice, peaceful... Ed hoped all the spies and murderers had taken the day off. He returned to his car and looked at the address for Ellen's home. He was visiting the posh side of town. Should he dress formally? He decided not to. It took him less than an hour to arrive. The property was a large, fenced mansion and grounds. A security guard stopped him at the entrance gate. "Hello, I have an appointment with Ellen Morgan," said Ed. "Your name?" "Ed Tanner." The guard opened the gate and waved him through. He drove up the driveway and parked in front of the house. It was huge. Ed got out of his car and looked for the main entrance. The lights were on, and Ellen stood waiting in the doorway. She looked breathtaking. Ed was relieved. Seeing her gave him something familiar to hold on to. He approached her. "Ed, I'm glad you found your way here," said Ellen. "This is amazing. Is this the reason they abducted you and put you in a coma?" "Yes. I had to claim it within a certain time or I'd lose it. Fortunately, I awoke in time." "That probably upset someone." "I'm sure it did. I have detectives investigating the culprits. Until they're brought to justice, I'm still not safe, hence the security team." Ed nodded. "They could attack again." "Please come inside," she said. They entered a large foyer. "I don't have this place fully staffed yet, so I arranged a caterer. I hope you like Italian food." "Yes, that's good for me." Ed followed her through various large rooms and to a smaller, more friendly room. "This is a family room. There are lots of spacious rooms, but I find this more comfortable," she said. "It's a lot to take in. I'd probably do the same." Ellen guided him to a sofa and they sat down together. "I wanted to thank you for rescuing me from that clinic." "You're welcome. Besides, you passed on a message from Connor, which saved me. We're even." "Without your help, I'd still be in that clinic. I may never have woken up from that coma." "I just drove the getaway car. Perhaps you should thank Connor. You and him did most of it." "I don't know if I can see Connor anymore. Can you thank him for me?" "Sure." "So, what happened? What caused you to see ghosts?" "I got mugged. They hit me on the head. Now I can see ghosts." "Oh, that simple?" "Well, I died briefly. The EMTs brought me back. It could be the near-death experience, or maybe my brain got rewired by the injury. I don't know." "And you met Connor, the ghost of a spy?" "Yes, I helped him with a mission. Because of that, Russian agents abducted me. Fortunately, Connor got a message through with your help." Ellen got up and held Ed's hand in hers. "I've got dinner set up on the table. Let's eat." They moved to the table and enjoyed pasta salad and pizza. "Ellen, when you were in a coma, what can you remember?" asked Ed. "Most of it. I enjoyed flying over the rooftops." "You had a genuine out-of-body experience." Ellen nodded and smiled. "We've got tiramisu for dessert," said Ellen. "Sounds delightful." "If those Russians are pursuing you, you could move in here. I have plenty of room and a security detail," said Ellen. Ed looked at her. "I hope the Russians are done with me. I don't think I'd feel comfortable in this place. It's a bit too rich for my taste." "A few days ago I had an apartment like yours. This is huge, but I'd be happy to share it with you. I feel I can trust you. Although I'm not ready to move in here, I can be friends with you. I hope that is enough. I never expected to see you again after you escaped from the clinic." "Friends is good. We both need a friend we can trust. I have significant resources and can be a friend to you," she said. "I like that. Now, about that tiramisu," asked Ed. They continued their dinner. Ed missed the sad look on her face when he declined her offer. Later that evening, Ed went home. The next day, Connor turned up at Ed's workplace. Ed smiled and stood and walked towards the washrooms. He passed the washrooms and ducked into the janitor's closet and shut the door. The ghost arrived a moment later. "Hello again," said Ed. "Hello, Ed. You look cheerful today. I had dinner with Ellen last night." "Good. Is she doing well?" "Yes. She's the heir to a fortune. She has people investigating the clinic. The Morgan Empire. People have done a lot worse for less. I'm glad it worked out." "Me too. I was glad to help someone who wasn't already dead." "Agreed. I have some more intel to share with Noah." "It's not the Russians again?" asked Ed. "No, it's the Chinese this time. If you pass the intel to Noah, then they can't learn about you." "Okay, let's go write it down, and I'll make the call." Soon, Ed called Noah Johnson. He left work for his doctor's appointment. At the CIA office, the receptionist recognized Ed and ushered him into the usual meeting room. Connor floated along behind Ed. A few minutes later, Noah entered the room. Ed shared the intel he got from Connor. Noah left to check the intel. Ed turned to Connor. "A crow came to talk to me recently," he said. "A crow, you say?" "Yes. Turns out it was a reincarnated person." "Perhaps we should discuss it later, when they're not listening in on our conversation." "Oh, sorry," Ed said, feeling sheepish. "You haven't said too much." Later, Noah returned. "Ed, your intel was spot on, thank you." Noah handed him a doctor's note and escorted him out to the reception area. Back in his car, Connor appeared. "So, about that crow," asked Connor. "It turns out I can talk with the spirits reincarnated into animals. Not everyone comes back as a ghost." "Wow, that's interesting. You could use animals to spy on people." "I know, but I can't tell a reincarnated animal from a regular one. Unless they talk to you." "Right. I better get back to work." Ed drove out to the parkade. 2 days later, it was the day for the gathering he was invited to. He wasn't sure he wanted to attend, but he felt obligated. After work, Ed returned home. At the right time, he left for the address she gave him. At exactly 7:30 p.m., Ed pulled into a parking lot outside a traditional Duwamish longhouse. Not that Ed knew it. Plenty of Duwamish people were walking toward an entrance, and they looked curiously at him as he approached. He felt out of place. Suddenly, a crow flew toward Ed and perched on his shoulder. "Absaroki, is that you?" asked Ed. "Yes, I'm here to boost your credibility. Don't worry, go straight inside." Ed continued in through the entrance. The presence of a crow on his shoulder increased the surrounding curiosity. Inside the building had traditional Salish design and cedar post and beam structure. Several people wore their traditional clothing, some with drums. Ed felt overwhelmed. "Absaroki, I'm out of my element here," said Ed. "You're okay. My wife will arrive soon to greet you." "Okay." Ed had little choice. Another person noticed him talking to the crow and pointed. "He was talking with the crow," they said. Several people were looking at him. "Is that how you welcome a guest?" "This is Ed," said Washta. She approached Ed and shook his hand. "I see you found my husband." "Yes, or rather he found me." "Welcome to our gathering. Let me introduce you to some people." Washta guided Ed around the room. He still had the crow perched on his shoulder. Ed was shy by nature, and this was far beyond his comfort zone. She was introducing Ed to everyone, especially the older people there. She told them of how they met and that he was a medicine man. The names and faces were becoming a blur. "Washta, I'm not feeling too good. I need to sit down," said Ed. A moment later, Ed was sitting down. He felt lightheaded. Washta sent someone to fetch a glass of water. "Ed, relax. They mean you no harm," said the crow. Ed took a sip of water from a glass that someone gave him. "I'll be okay in a moment. I'm sorry. I'm not normally like this. Just remember to breathe." Around him, people watched him talking with a crow. Of course, they only heard squawking from the crow, but it was clear they were having a conversation. "He's a medicine man," said Washta. "The crow is the spirit of my late husband." Several people gasped. Clearly her words carried weight. "Ed, why don't you stay seated? Ask Washta to bring people to you instead." "Excuse me, Washta. He says I should sit here and you can bring people to me," said Ed. Washta nodded. Someone spoke to Ed. "We've not had a medicine man in ages. You honor us with your presence." "Please tell us how you gained the gift," said another. "I was mugged recently and hit on the head. I died on my way to hospital. The EMTs resuscitated me. Now I can see and hear ghosts." Several people nodded, taking in his words. "Ed, I'm going to get some food from the kitchen. See you later." The crow leaped up and flew towards the kitchen. "What did he say?" asked an elder. "Oh, he's going to the kitchen for some food." "Amazing." A young woman arrived with a plate full of food and handed it to Ed. "This is for you. I'm to make sure you eat it all," she said. "This smells delicious. What is your name?" he asked. "My name is Abby." "Thank you, Abby." Ed munched on various items. He didn't want to offend his hosts. The young woman watched him to make sure he ate everything. Later, someone approached Ed. "Excuse me, can you come outside? We need your help," he said. Ed stood and followed him outside. In a corner of the parking lot, Ed discovered a large bear sitting quietly, as if waiting for him. Several people stood near the entrance to the longhouse, some of them with rifles. "It's a bear," said Ed. "Hello, are you the one called Ed?" asked the bear. To everyone else it sounded like growling. "Yes, I am. Absaruki told me you'd be here." "What can I do for you?" "My name is Mohi. I used to belong to this tribe. I miss these gatherings and I thought I could visit one last time." "It's not safe to come into the city. I don't know they'd want you inside the building. How about I bring you out a plate of food? Then we could get you somewhere safe," he said. "That would be acceptable. Please tell them Mohi will sit here quietly and not cause any trouble." "I will. Please stay here." Ed returned to the people at the building entrance. "He won't cause any trouble. I'll be right back." Ed walked inside. Strangely, he didn't feel out of place. He approached Abby, the young woman. "Abby, I need your help. There is a bear outside. His name is Mohi. He'd like some food, but I suggest you put it on a metal tray rather than a plate." "I'll be right back," she said. Soon she returned with a tray loaded with food. Ed took the tray and returned to the parking lot. He placed the tray in front of the bear. "Please enjoy this. I'll arrange for transportation for you. I assume you can ride in the back of a pickup truck." "Yes, thank you," said Mohi. Ed returned inside the longhouse. By now everyone was aware of things happening in the parking lot. Inside the longhouse, Ed walked up to several elders. "Excuse me, I need help from someone with a pickup truck. Mohi needs transportation back to the wild," said Ed. "Did you say Mohi? He was my grandfather." "I did. Can you find someone with a pickup to help?" "I'd be honored to do that myself. My name is Ahote." "Please come with me, Ahote. Bring your keys." Ed and Ahote exited the building. The bear had just finished the tray of food. "Ed, please pass on my thanks to the cooks. It has been too long since I enjoyed human food," said Mohi. "I will, Mohi. This is your grandson, Ahote." "Hello, Mohe," said Ahote. "Please tell him hello. I remember him when he was young." "Mohi says hello. He remembers you as a child," said Ed. He turned to Ahote. While I have you together, Ahote, you can ask your grandfather 3 questions. Ahote thought for a moment. Grandfather, what was your greatest moment? Mohe, he asks, what was your greatest moment? Said Ed. When I met your grandmother, Yoki. Ahote said, when he met your grandmother, Yoki. Ahote smiled at Ed. That answers my second question as well. Grandmother Yoki was special to many people. Mohi, he said that Grandmother Yoki was special to many people, said Ed. That she was. Of all things I miss her most. He said he misses her the most. Please ask him what life's like as a bear, said Ahote. Mohe, he asks, what's life like as a bear? I live as a bear. I know inside I was human, but I am what I am, said Mohi. He said he lives as a bear. He knows inside he was once human, but he's a bear now. Thank you, Ed. This has been special for me. I'm sure it has for him too, said Ed. I'm ready to take him back to the wild. Mohi, he will take you in his pickup truck. Please thank him and lead on. I'll follow. Ed turned to Ahote. He says thank you. Which way to your pickup truck? The elder turned to the bear. Honored grandfather, please this way, he said. He gestured at his pickup nearby. They walked to the pickup truck with the bear following. Once Ahote opened the tailgate, the bear climbed inside. Others watched in awe. I suggest you lay flat and don't lift your head up while he's driving. Of course, Ed. It's not the first time I've ridden in a truck. The bear seemed to smile at Ed. Ed wasn't certain, but it was very unbear-like. The elder climbed into the cab and drove out of the parking lot. Ed picked up the metal tray and walked back into the longhouse. He took the tray to the kitchen. Washta approached him. Washta, please tell the cooks that Mohi enjoyed their cooking, said Ed. Of course. The entire tribe is talking about you. Mohe passed a long while back. You showed him great respect, she said. It was the right thing to do. Besides, he could tear my head off if I didn't. They both laughed. I've spoken with the elders, and they want to make you an honorary member of our tribe. It's been ages since we had a medicine man in our tribe. Wow, said Ed. Since I got mugged, my life has been wild. This is amazing. Well, that's the end of chapter 11. In the next episode, we have chapter 12. Ed visits the museum, and he discovers a mummy. Sarah helps another ghost, and Washta calls for help. See you then.